Further ado, I would love to introduce you to Mr. John King, OAM, who will have a few words on behalf of ATEC and the ATEC National Board. Welcome, John.
Thanks, Meg. It's great to be here, and thank you for agreeing to take on this role of MC today. I've attended quite a few of these since the first of these events was held. In fact, it was 2006 at the Cairns Conference. This was a bit of a breakout session, and it's great to see how it's evolved since then. This event really centres on 3 days of our full week of symposium activities, all associated with youth. Yesterday we had the AYTE, and from all reports that I had when I was here last night, it appears that that was an extremely positive and productive day, and hopefully we'll have an equally positive and productive day tomorrow. I'd like also to recognise the BITAP board, who are very much a part of the whole ATEC world. We have a number of important panels representing each sector, and I think without any sort of word of exaggeration, this is by far and away the most active of those panels that we have, and really providing some great input to the board. And I'd like to give you a little bit of an example of that a little later. I'd like also at the outset to thank a few people that without whose support this event wouldn't occur. And I would start actually with Insurance AdvisorNet Australia, and as Meg mentioned, they are the sponsors of the BITAP operation, the panels board, and without them this wouldn't have occurred here today. So thank you to the guys from Insurance AdvisorNet, and I was talking with them last night. They came along to this conference last year at Airlie Beach. They dipped their toe in the water, they liked the temperature and what they saw, and they've come in full pelt, and we really appreciate that. I'd also like to thank Qantas and Tourism Australia, and they've been major supporters, particularly of the AYTE events, and they've been responsible for bringing the buyers in, and also our panellists here today. To our hosts at Novotel Twin Waters Resort, Accor have been absolutely tremendous in assisting us not only with this event, but the entire series of events we have running over these 5 days of this week. And also Tourism Queensland, who hosted the welcome party last night, and tomorrow night we've got Destination New South Wales hosting the farewell dinner for AYTE. And of course our host regional destination organisation, Sunshine Coast Tourism, and its members who've supported this week, supported this whole week. A big thank you, and I'm delighted that Steve Cooper, the CEO, is here today. As I mentioned, I've personally watched this conference grow, and it's grown from strength to strength. It started off in Cairns, as a bit of a breakout from the overall major symposium that we have, and of course leading up to last year's very, very successful conference at Airlie Beach, and an even bigger conference here today at Twin Waters. And on behalf of the board, I might say that we place great value in the discussions and input of this conference, and indeed of BITAP itself. And in mentioning BITAP, could I also say that we are delighted that once more Peter Obenden, who's chairman of BITAP, is actually a member of our board in his own right, not just as a representative of this panel, and is able to very well represent the views and the issues that come up through the panel. And I'd just like to give you one example of what I'm talking about in terms of gaining from the input of this conference. Last year, those of you who were at Airlie Beach will recall a very, very good presentation by Dr. Jeff Jarvis of Monash University, and raised the whole issue of working holiday visas and some of the anomalies that existed there. as a result of discussions that I had with Peter, who, as I mentioned, is a member of our board, at that conference, and with discussions that he had with the BITAP board, we arranged to have those issues raised at our very next board meeting that happened to be held in Canberra. And the board chose to adopt and support a major push towards relaxing some of the anomalies and some of the impediments that stood in the way of having a better and more lucrative and a more active working holiday visa program and visitor program in Australia. And in consultation with the BITAP board, we resolved to mount a strong advocacy for a number of things, and they included employment for 88 days in tourism hospitality in regional Australia to be included as a part of the extension of the working holiday visa, along with agriculture, horticulture and construction. The costs and financial requirements of applying for working holiday maker program visas be held at then current levels or reduced. That the maximum qualifying age for working holiday visitors be extended to from 30 to 35 years, as is the case in New Zealand and in Canada. That multiple working holiday visa applications be allowed. For example, one between 18 and 25 years of age, and one between 26 and 30, or hopefully now 35, and also better engagement with the tourism industry as the government looks to expand the working holiday visa program to other countries. Initially from a position of lukewarm support for a couple of proposals, Minister Ferguson's office and his department have been, I've got to say, very helpful and engaged with us in ensuring the right information and arguments are presented to government. We enlisted the expertise of Dr. Jeff Jarvis, your last year's speaker, and Monash University, as well as the Centre for International Economics, to assist us in mounting as compelling an economic case as we could possibly present. And the position paper mounting that argument, which is this document here, I think some of you have seen, was released in February and received very wide support from the rest of the tourism industry and also from the Department of Resources, Energy and Tourism and from Martin Ferguson as Minister. The case is currently awaiting a decision from Chris Bowen, the Minister for Immigration, and information that I have is that sometime in the not too distant future he's likely to be making an announcement. In the meantime, we've also received very, very strong support from Bob Baldwin and Adam Joseph, who is Bob's Senior Policy Advisor on Tourism. Whilst I've not seen the opposition's tourism policy, as it's still being finalised for whenever the next election is going to be held, I am very confident that they'll demonstrate a very positive reaction to our proposals. And in fact, Adam Joseph was supposed to have been at this conference this morning, but I had a message from him last night. And today he is meeting with Scott Morrison's team to actually try and include all of those proposals in the coalition's policy. As I mentioned this one area, not because it's an important issue for this sector, but because this was something that has been argued for some time and to date really hasn't gained much traction. But to demonstrate that with concerted, strategic and well-argued advocacy, we can get traction and we can get results. I also use it as an example of something that emanated from this conference last year and has gained traction through the full backing of ATEC. I look forward to other issues coming up through this conference today, and we would look similarly to helping you champion those causes. Today there's a very, very interesting program before you. My good friend Chris Flynn, and I've got to say that ATEC enjoys a very close working partnership with Parter and will become increasingly close in the future. And Chris and I were together in Kuala Lumpur a little over a week ago at the Parter board meeting and conference. and he'll look at the connections between aviation developments and the youth travel market. And Richard Beer, I'm absolutely delighted to see Richard here today with us. Some of you may be aware that Richard has been very seriously ill of late and is a shadow of his former self. And today is his coming out. This is his first event, and we're delighted that Richard was able to, and very honoured that Richard was able to join us here today. You'll also be discussing the contentious issue of agents and commissions and other issues of vital interest and importance to you. But there's one other area of your program today that I'd like to comment on, and that's the one on connecting with Indigenous tourism experiences. A session to be presented by David Hudson from Jabberkai and Cairns. A month ago, along with Tourism NT and PATA, ATEC co-hosted the first ever Pacific Asia Indigenous Tourism Conference held in Darwin. We had representatives of 16 countries, 191 delegates in all, and it's probably one of the best conferences I've ever attended. This was part of our efforts as ATEC to bring Indigenous participation and culture to the centre of the essential Australian experience and to our industry. And I've got to say that the youth travel sector will play the largest role of any sector in assisting us to achieve that quest, as we know the interest and involvement in Indigenous experiences is greater among youth travellers than for any other sector. I look forward very much to your discussions and your insights and support arising from all of those discussions and presentations you're going to have today. I would once again, a very encouraging program. I can congratulate the BITAP for pulling this program together, to Meg for volunteering her time to so ably MC today. And I wish you a very successful, informative and productive conference, and I look forward, I'll be here until about 10 o'clock and we've got some other things going, so I'm going to have to leave, but I'm going to be looking forward very much to hear the overall outcomes of this conference. So have a great day.